Welcome to post commentary video of the 1959 Western North Carolina 500 here at Asheville Weaverville Speedway. That's a lot. That's a mouthful right there. 75 laps. I was gonna do originally at least 100, but now I was like, I'm in VR. That's gonna be a lot. And also, I was going to do 80, but then I put 75, and I was thinking about doing 80, and I actually would have turned it to 80, but I eventually kind of just forgot to put the 80 laps. But anyways, this race was something. We had 4 crashes, none of which in real life would have actually took us out of the race, even though we got close to, like, I think twice. The first time that we almost got taken on a race, we almost turned over, but for some reason the contact was so light it did not even, to me, it didn't really make me think I would have been out of the race. And then the second time, which was literally like 10 laps to go, well, let's just say we did that again, but that time, I think that time was actually kind of a little bit worse, but still not like horrifically bad. It's where I needed to like role play being out of the race, by role play being kind of wounded for a couple laps on the car. Not like me being wounded, but like the car being wounded as we have contact with Larry Frank. There should be a lot of contact in this race because the AI aggression, as you see here, this is the first crash. No, that was one of the moments that I've had. That was a crash, but there was a lot of. They have a weird line at this track when their aggression's up. And the only reason why I have their aggression's up because they seem not to like really pass each other. This is really the only time I can get them to like pass, and even then they don't pass like I want them to. They kind of just sit here like what Richard Petty's doing right now. Also, as you could tell, this race was a convertible and Grand National conversion race, or what do you call those? A combination race. There you go. And I'm running the number 37, 1959 Ford Thunderbird. We're technically in Eldorado's number 37 car that he raced in the 500 and the 250. Yeah, I was originally gonna do this with commentary, like live commentary, but when I use Streamlabs is kind of iffy with VR for some reason. Here's the first wreck. Yeah, you see, not that bad of a wreck. Kind of just skid for a little bit. Feeling we just need to get some tires. That's the first of 4 incidents that weren't that bad, really. But at the beginning, 2 of them were kind of the worst, but even then they weren't like race ending. Even with real life, I would have still drove the car because the first almost race ending wreck, we stayed straight. Same with the second one. The 2 times that we spun, we kind of stopped and we barely touched anything. Like we kind of just skid across the wall a little bit and then kind of just spun for a little bit, like we did on that first wreck. The third wreck was a pileup, and we're gonna show you that pileup eventually. But I want to keep the full race happening while I do some post commentary, because I want to do more of these, but I don't want to do long races. Like I want to do the Rex Mays 300 in 1968 with the Indy cars at Riverside, but I feel like trying to make the race as long as this race is what's gonna be what I'm gonna do, because I think 30 minutes is probably the most I can last in a VR, because about 10 laps to go, so about 5-ish minutes to go. The weight of the VR, I have an Oculus, I don't remember exactly. Is it a Quest 2? Let me check the Quest 3S. I don't know if slim really means anything because it's still. I think it's mostly because I had to have my glasses in, or it's just blurry as hell. But yeah, so at the end of the race, it just kind of starts weighing down, and my face starts, and my neck starts kind of moving down, and it starts hurting, and my glasses being on with the VR for so long, it hurts. Now, can I fix that? Not really. Did I have something to fix that? I used to, but I don't know what happened to it. This VR has been through hell, pretty much, and surprisingly it still works like this. The only problem is, I don't know why it has such performance issues with certain games when it's supposed to go off of my my computer's graphics card, right? And I have the minimum requirements. I think I have above the minimum requirements. I think so. And because I have ITEL, what was it? I have a 7. Intel 7. I don't know why I said ITEL. Yeah, the Intel i7. It's 8th generation. Maybe that's why, but I don't really bother to upgrade since this computer's been doing fine for me for what I do. Why upgrade something super powerful if it's just the knack of a matter? I know some people are like, why don't you upgrade? It's so much better if you upgrade. Well, I don't care. And a lot of the games that would be destroy this computer, I have on my PlayStation or my Xbox. So I literally just run it there. So I'm really a valid argument. It's a good thing about also having all these consoles with them. See, I don't know if I chart back to see the leaderboard. We're passing Tom Still, so I'm guessing we're about 5th. Because I think Tim Flock was holding up everybody. No, it looks like we're 7th. Or we're 6th. God damn it, me, look over, please. We're 6th. So there's one car, I think, really far out. No, we're in 5th. Coming up to 4th. They're around Fritz Wilson. I think it's Fritz Wilson. You got Jim Reed, Tiny Lund, and Tim Flock. Jesus, words. God. I think Tim Flock was the one that raced the longest. Because he had Fonty Flock, Tim Flock. There was another one, right? I'm not going crazy, am I? By the way, we're in the lead, so I was correct. Tim Flock was holding him up. My memory did serve me correct, so that's good to know. Let's see here. I gotta check. I thought there was at least one more Flock brother. That's right, Bob Flock. I knew there was another one. It's Bob, Fonty, and Tim Flock. That's right. I was correct. And then I think it was it was Billy Myers who went over the wall at. No, it was Bob Meyer that went over the wall at Martinsville in 57. And the weird part about that was, it was the same year, I believe, I can't remember what race it was, I can't remember if it's the Virginia 500 or if it was the Old Dominion 500 back then. Because if it was a Virginia, it would be about 6, 7, 8 months before his, I don't know if it was his brother, Billy Myers. I don't know if that's his brother or not. Billy Myers died in that Darlington flip with Goldsmith and Fonty wrecking matter of fact. Honestly, if Fonty never drove that car, Herb Thomas would have probably been the one. Yeah, he would have been the one having that issue and would have been the one calling NASCAR out about the caution period and stuff like that. Because it made sense, because back in the day, they didn't have a pace car. Like, they had a pace car for the beginning of the race, but they didn't have a pace car unless there was fire or if there was a red flag or if something else happened. If there was a simple spin or something like that, they wouldn't put the pace car out there. They would just let the leader pace the field around. Same with IndyCar. IndyCar, I think, started that in about 1973? Maybe 1971? And then when Winston came aboard with NASCAR, they saw what they did and then made it like that. I think so. Let me check. $1978 or 1979. I mean. So, if that's the case, that means the 1973 Winston 500 thing, where when Scott got hurt, actually makes sense because they wouldn't had a pace car coming out on the racetrack to slow them down. They would just be coming around and around and around trying to catch the field. So that makes sense of the wreck happening over and over and over and over again. But yeah, so pretty much what I'm trying to say is when you see videos for like restarts on old NASCAR videos or IndyCar videos of old races, as we have a check up there, I don't know what caused that, but we ran in the back of the 36 car anyways. But that's why, because there was no pace car during the actual caution, The beginning of the race, there was one. I believe at the end of the race, they would usually have one kind of to slow the field down or find the leader and show them who won, you know. Or at least that's what they did with the 59 500. That's another one of those moments where I kind of cleared myself. Well, that's how I kind of cleared myself, but at the same time, you didn't need to do that, and then this kind of just insult to injury, like, just throw it in there, and I kind of got a little mad. By a little bit, I mean a lot. I almost dumped him. Surprised he even kept it straight. That's just a course I had for you. 35 laps into the 75 lap race, pretty much about halfway, as we ran back into him again, because, as I said, I got a little angry. I eventually passed him perfectly fine. Get around Larry Frank. Almost get to Gerald Duke too. This is where the next wreck happened, if I remember correctly. Dick Joust sliding in front of us in the 71 car. Literally halfway through this race. Right here, it just kind of went too high up and the AI came too far down. Now the hit, I don't know if, I can't tell because of the way that the AI, or the physics in this game, but it just didn't feel that bad of a hit. So I didn't really think I was out of the race. I did spin, but it wasn't like anything bad. I did get up in the air too, but that's just because the wall's kind of angled. I also know that in the 50s before this track got paved, which just I think was the first race that it was paved. You know, there was conflicting information about it being paved or not, but they would use a dirt bank for walls pretty much. Like you see that wall down the front stretch about from turn 4 a little bit past halfway in the front stretch. There's a dirt bank there, same with this. So you can see a little dirt bank there, that's all they had. Until they added these walls. And also Earl Brooks punched through a wall. I don't remember if it's the pit wall they punched through here or it was the outside wall, but he punched through one of the walls in 1968, one of the last times they were here. Actually, I think it was the last time they ever raced here. So we lost the lead of that, but we're already coming back on Jim Reed. We passed Tim Flock, because Tim Flock pitted, which if I'm correct, eventually, or I'll eventually be correct in saying that he pitted. Actually, there he is, he's behind me just now. I don't know if he was over there in the relative, I couldn't tell because of me not looking. So we get around Jim Reed, now we're the leader at lap. Please, can you look up? Past me, please. There we go, lap 41. That's that car was out of control. I don't know why that singular car had so many issues getting around the racetrack. Like a couple of other cars would hit the wall like once in a while before Thunderbird, obviously. Because for some reason this car was just kind of an issue throughout this whole entire race. But you can see like Tom Pistone, you know, gets close, but he never actually hits it. But look at the mirror, it kind of just slams the wall again. I don't know what's wrong with that AI or car. It just keeps slamming. I don't know. Because all the Chevys were fine, convertible or hardtop. They all were perfect. Then we almost got wrecked by Richard Petty right here. I thought I was going to be wrecked. I thought I was going to have to run the towel, but thank God I didn't have to. Because you got Joe Lee Johnson in front of us. Get little contacts. Eventually get separated. And they got Tom Stone. See, he keeps on hitting the wall. But Colin Owens just keeps hitting the wall. Every time I've seen Colin Owens, besides probably the start, he was just slamming off the wall for no reason. And then he's actually what caused our third and fourth incident. Which our third and fourth incident were pretty close together, so that means something. Tommy Irwin, you got Bob Welborn, Fireball Roberts. Behind us is Stone, Johnson, and Petty. Joe Lee Johnson. I wanted to do a Darlington or Southern 500 for 1959, but I don't want to use a modern Darlington. If we had an old Darlington, it would be perfect, but we don't, so I would do the same for the Road 600. They didn't have a Road 600 when I talked about it. They didn't have it until the next year, or where race would they have been? A lot of dirt tracks on that. Maybe they had Ochiniki Speedway? No, Orange Speedway, maybe. That would be kind of cool. I don't know how these cars would react to dirt and the AI react to dirt. I don't remember how these cars. I know that any cars I tried to do, they were fine. It's just the Williams Grove that we had, because I tried to do a Williams Grove IndyCar dirt race because they used to have one. That track ain't that well done because it was a beta and then it got released as a beta, so there's no like. There's not a lot to it, is what I'm trying to say. And then there's an Ascot Park from 1910, but I don't think that's the same track. I'm pretty sure those are two different tracks. So that's why I'm like, I mean, unless if I find information that they're the same, I'll try to do like the West Coast race, maybe. I'm trying to do that right now to see if there's anything different between Ascot Park and Ascot Speedway. It wasn't Ascot. It wasn't Ascot Park. Ascot Park was the track that got torn down at the end. It was the Legion Ascot Park Speedway. There we go. That track was a horse track, and it ended in 1936. So yeah. What is the length of this track? It's 0.62 miles, and the Ascot Park that we all probably know today was a half-mile track. So I mean, it's not too far off. I mean, I don't know how people react to me trying to do that. I mean, they were both in California. Just one wasn't the other. We're at, I believe, 21 laps to go. 22 laps to go. We're coming to 221 right now. Right next to Buck Baker. Lee Petty right there. GC Spencer, which I believe would have been the 34 car, but I decided to put in the 48 because I didn't have a 34, and those would have checked up there. You can tell by my head movement that I'm starting to feel the weight pull me down. So I'm starting to kind of just, even though I want to get done fast, I don't want to have another mistake. Even though we rearing them again there. And you see Con Owens right there. Now, just wait. As we get 20 to go, just wait. Actually, that's a Con Owens. That's what's his name? Oh, we got the wall again. I don't remember that one, honestly. So that time we kind of got tangled with Petty. This is Fritz Nielsen. Then you got Tiny Lund, and then you got Tim Flock. Where did Kyle go? I think he's in the next pack of games. I think what happened, if I recall correctly, there was a little checkup. Just a little. I get around a couple cars, find Con Owens. Con Owens bounces off the wall into me, and the rest is history. As you can see, they're starting to slow down up there, and exactly what happens. You see him hitting the wall, and he's slowing down everybody. So, within the next 2 laps, I pretty much am right there, because you see Glenn Wood right there, we kind of touched the wall a little bit. As you see, the 6 car is literally up on 2 wheels, so... And then we get to the inside of Glenn Wood and Jim Reed by the time we turn 3. So, what I try to do here was, I think I went on the outside generator because I was trying to get him around Con Owens so I didn't lock the field. But eventually I didn't lock the field because I didn't know what happened. But he would get there and then he would just kind of like back off and just get screwed like right there. He had the chance and it just didn't capitalize on it, and then don't know what happened there. I'm pretty sure Todd stole right, if I remember correctly, and then we almost get charmed by Jim Reed when I'm trying to help him. And the 6-star gets in the wall again. See, right there, could have went, but then since he came down too far, it broke. And then I try to make a move at it, and I believe it will be next lap. He hits the wall. I'm still trying to like work it, trying to get around him. I'm trying too hard so that it just pushes. The car just pushes, and then the entry just and the accident just don't blend correctly. And then we finally get side by side, and he's kind of like driving us down into the apron. So we kind of slide a little bit high up. He goes high up, and then me thinking that I'm gonna be fine, he bounces off the wall way more than usual, and then I get spun, and I tried to save it, but I had a little too much gas into it, and then one car got into Glenwood, and then this happened. A lot of cars got on top of other cars, and then GC Spencer, I think, had like a half a lap of me on top of whoever he was on top of. But then I get going after watching that, as you saw in the mirror. I think it's Gerald Duke that was underneath. No. But then somebody retired. I don't know who it was because I didn't look up in time. But then we're about 10 laps to go, and this is where the next problem is going to come up. So, as you saw, Con Owens got by, so I'm pretty much trying to pass him again. And since they had a little bit of a jam up, and also because they had a car on top of the car, and that's probably what caused even more of a jam up, we what was I gonna say? We caught him faster than we should have, and then they checked up a lot here. I think somebody pitted, if I recall correctly, because they got to look over a little bit and see somebody. Unless somebody was just really slow. I think it was just Con Owens slamming the wall again. See Fritz Wilson there. See, he goes high and goes crazy, but he doesn't like destroy the wall from it. And I mean, he kind of clipped Buck Baker. I mean, we've had beef this whole entire race pretty much. Get around Dick Jocelyn. And then we eventually get around Fritz Wilson and Glenn Wood. And you see Con Owens up there, hitting the wall again. And he's just holding up this whole entire field, which is another reason why we caught him so quick. Also because there's a lot of convertibles here. Jesus Christ. Conga Line convertibles. I didn't realize that because I was just focusing on trying to make sure I won this race and didn't give it up like I almost did. And also another weird thing about this car in general, the Ford Thunderbird, if you get on the apron in this track, and you just barely got an apron just the wrong way, for some reason the rear axle, even without damage on, just breaks, and then you just can't do anything about it. I don't know what it was about that. And then we get 12 laps to go. Not 12 laps to go, we got 8 laps to go. 7 laps to go, what am I talking about? 7 laps to go. Coming up to 6 laps to go. We're next to Jolie Johnson. Got a little tight and then a little loose. And then we kept side by side with him, and then eventually they could clear in turn 1. You know, we kind of slid up. And then got a little contact with Con Owens because he was slow. That's where I said that we got a little error there. Didn't really have too much damage if I would have been in real life, and Con Owens turned over there. So if I remember correctly, there was only one flip in this race. Unless the car, I saw another car flip, I just don't remember. So what I did was, one, I didn't know how much fuel I had, so it's kind of burning a lot of it. And I didn't see fuel icon. So what I did was, I acted like I needed the pit for a little bit of repair, for like a tire ding, you know, because going up in the air like that after getting hit by a car to get up in there, it has to cause some type of damage. And also because I didn't want to just keep acting like, oh, there was nothing wrong, because, well, that time I didn't have time to stop. I was still going straight and the momentum kept going. But the problem is here is I started realizing the pit thing is flashing. That is telling me that that won't work, because as you saw me shake my head and then I spun, so honestly it's kind of like a penalty for pitting pretty much, just me having to back up, make sure I don't get hit and then get going again. So pretty much what that means is it's just going to keep glitching to where you can't hit tires, because it just glitches every time they're trying to pit you. So it would phase in and out of the pit cycle, showing that the pit crew are there, but it keeps resetting them. That's pretty much what I'm saying. You know how I figured that out? Practice attempts. I was practicing, hitting, trying to make sure everything worked, and then pit don't works. So I made sure that I had enough fuel, which I did. That's part of the reason why I only did 75 laps. Made sure I could do that, and then don't make a pit stop. I almost forgot about that, but then I started seeing it flicker, and I was like, okay, make sure, because I thought it was another car. I thought it was just the Chevy that did that. I went into the Ford and tried to go down pit lane, saw it flicker, and I was like, no, we're not doing this today, bud, because I want to win this race, and I get stuck, and they get 30 seconds penalty, and then lose the race because of that. Because all you would need to do is just pull out the fender, and if the wheel's broken, like if it's just towed, I would still drive it personally, because I have almost a whole lap lead on them. Just make sure I don't blow a tire, and it'll be fine. So we're on the last lap, and we're pretty much gonna win. There's no way, there's no need to even say that, oh, what's gonna happen? Because we're 10 seconds ahead. So you're gonna see the list of the order that we get for this race. There's a finishing order, and thanks for watching. Hopefully we can do the Rex Made 300.